Micky Dolenz, welcome. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you. Thank you for your interest.
#1 fan in the whole world. There wouldn't have been one Monkees fan bigger than me.
Thank you.
Well, I thank you, absolutely. Micky, when they were casting for 4 crazy, insane boys back in 1964 or 5, I wanted to know, are you still that insane boy today?
No, I approached it as, I was already an actor. I'd had a series when I was a kid called Circus Boy.
I remember.
And yeah, so I'd already been in the business by the time the Monkees came along. I'd already been in the business 10 years, and my parents were in the business, and so I came from a showbiz family. So I approached it as a part, as a character. I knew that what it was about, of course. I knew that you had to be able to sing and to play to get through the auditions. They had made that very clear. So obviously they had in mind that if the show ever got on the air, then we would be out playing and recording and stuff like that. But no, I approached it as a character. Micky, the crazy wacky monkey, is a character that I was playing.
You never got confused between character and the real Micky Dolenz all those years past?
No, not really. I mean, it got very insane, of course, all the publicity and all of the fans and all of the. But no, I can honestly say that not in the way that I think you mean, or you really lose sight of the difference between the person and the persona. I think that the fact that I'd gone through it before as a kid, and my parents are in the business, I think that it definitely helped me to sort of keep on track. That's not to say that I didn't have my moments,
We read about those. You guys sold more records at the height of your popularity than the Beatles and the Rolling Stones combined. I mean, you talk about all that fame and fortune that you obviously went through. That's got to have been quite difficult to live up to what that fame demands of you, wasn't it?
The difficult part for me, I can only speak for myself. The difficult part is always the aftermath, I think. That's the part that's hard for people to handle, especially if you're, say, a child star. I mean, we were only in our 20s. And so by 22, 23 years old, it was all over, It's like, and so at the time of the success, it's really hard to even pay attention. There's so much going on, so fast. You're kind of in the eye of the hurricane. You don't even know what's going on around you. It's insane. And in our case, we're not just, say a typical rock and roll group basically records for a few months and then they go on the road. And back then, that was essentially what you did. In our case, we had to film a television show 5 days a week and go in the studio at night and record, and then rehearse on the weekends for upcoming concerts. So for a couple of years there, we were basically incommunicado. I mean, there was little time for anything else besides working and sleeping.
and by the time you kind of all left each other, you must have been completely exhausted.
Well, yeah, at 21 years old, you do have a lot of energy. Yeah. But my mother used to tell stories of when I would finally get a day off, and my wife the same would say I just would collapse and sleep for 2 days,
According to Mike Nesmith, he says that it's your voice that made the band sound so distinctive. And even today, you've got possibly the greatest surviving American pop voice of the 60s.
That is quite an accolade. And I really appreciate it. I'm not sure it's entirely true necessarily, but I'd like to think that I'm being appreciated. Yeah, well, my voice became more or less the sound of the Monkees. I did the theme song, and of course, most of the big hits, not all though. Davy Jones, our lovely Davy, he had a couple of huge Monkee hits. But I think the fact that I had the first one, Clarksville, and also my voice is the voice of the theme song of the show. So yeah, I guess you could say that I'm the sound of the Monkees. But Mike also had some wonderful recordings, and so did Peter too.
You had some amazing writers. You had
incredible!
You had Neil Diamond.
Neil Diamond wrote 2 or 3 hits for us, including "I'm a Believer" and "Little Bit Me, Little Bit You." Carole King and Jerry Goffin wrote one of my favorite, "Pleasant Valley Sunday." And also Sometime in the Morning. Boyce and Hart wrote many of the huge hits and also produced, they were the record producers. They wrote Last Train to Clarksville, they wrote Stepping Stone, and John Stewart, one of the original Kingston Trio, wrote Daydream Believer, which of course was a huge hit. No, we were blessed to be surrounded by incredibly talented songwriters. And in the television show, we were blessed to be surrounded by incredible television writers and producers and directors and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
It took a lot of people. There was a lot of people besides the 4 of us that were involved.
The show, the 50th anniversary tour, right around the world has been getting incredible reviews. They're saying that you've managed to pull off a comeback only second to Lazarus.
Yeah, I read that. It's funny because if you think back, I was thinking about it the other day. We're back in 1966, and the Monkees are there, and the Beatles, and the Stones, and the Beach Boys, and everybody, and if all of a sudden the equivalent of what we've done this year would be if an act came around and had a top 20 record and a international tour from the year 1916.
Oh, that's insane.
And it's like, it would be Al Jolson or Enrico Caruso or somebody.
That's incredible.
I know, it's weird.
Do you get sick of singing the same song?
No, I don't, frankly. For me, the work, the hard part's always the traveling. Doing the shows is the easy part. And, like I said, we've been blessed to have a wonderful following over the years. So whenever we do a show, there's such a tremendous outpouring of, enthusiasm and infection by the audience that it's hard not to get caught up in it. I've always described it as somebody throwing you a birthday party every night.
That's wonderful. So at 71, your energy level's obviously not the same as it was at 21. What do you do to keep it right up there?
A lot of sleep, a lot of green tea, and taking care of myself. I've been fortunate that I do have a good metabolism, and I try to eat well, but mainly it's just rest. I just woke up from a nap, because I have to go on to sound check, and so that has a lot to do with it. And getting yourself sort of geared up for what is essentially a night shift. We have a night shift. We go to work at 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. And then don't get to sleep until 2 or 3 in the morning. It's like somebody working on a night shift, and then try to get as much rest as you can during the day.
30 lucky people, Micky, have been paying around $400 to meet both you and Peter. What I want to know is, what do they want to know mostly from you, and are they all women?
No, they're not all women. There may be the majority, but not necessarily. There's a lot of very, very devout Monkee fans who are men, and nowadays, of course, we can often have 2 or 3 generations of fans at a Monkee show because the show's been on the air on and off over the years, and the records, of course, keep getting played. So often there can be 2 or 3 generations. I don't know what they want to know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I think
what they want to know.
Well, it's not so much what they want to know, because they don't tend to ask a lot of questions. They basically just want to meet and shake hands and to take a picture and have it as a souvenir. They'll occasionally ask questions similar to maybe what you've asked about what it was like, the songwriting, the singing, the Sometimes they'll ask questions about the TV show, like, remember when you were wearing that red sweater in the episode? And I'm like, I have no clue. I have no memory of some of that stuff at all, because like we discussed before, it just so much was happening so fast.
Well, welcome back to Australia, to the 50th anniversary tour. Micky Dolenz, you and Peter Talk are just doing it for everyone, and you seem to have cast your shows with fabulous musicians and even your sister as well.
Yep. Hope to see you there. Thank you so much.
Look forward. Thanks for your time.
Bye.